What are you wearing?
A Canadian tuxedo.
Canadian.
I'm a hockey player. Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
To all you Blues fans, we're bleeding blue with you. Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues!
Now please welcome to the ice for their pregame warm-up, presented by Scott Credit Union. Yours.
Blue Note. Game report. Hey, Justin, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. Getting over this head cold like we were kind of talking about offline. But honestly, I wish I would have been able to, I know we'll touch base with it a little bit. Wish I was able to be on with you last night, but I didn't get to catch much of the Olympics this year just because of like the time zone and when they played. I was at work most of the times when these games were being played. So
yeah. I thought they were going to tape delay all of them. They ended up playing them live. That's not the way they originally had it set up, but they played them live, which is great. And I watched some of it. I didn't watch all of it, but I got to say, are you ready for this, man? USA, 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 US. I'm sorry. I'm old enough to remember the 80 Olympic game. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm old enough to remember everything that happened back then. Everything. I'm old enough to remember it. And I didn't understand it, but I remember it. And my buddy that lived up the street from me, and you're younger than me, he got it. I mean, he had older brothers and sisters, so some of them. Oh my God, I don't know if you can see this. I hope this stays. There's 37 people watching us right now. It's probably all going to go away. It's fake YouTube, but I'll take it. Yay! Thank you. Hey, welcome. What an amazing. Could one of you guys please say hi? Nobody ever says hi. Hi, Peggy. Hi, Peggy. We don't know you, but we're saying hi to you. Hi.
how you doing?
All right, we're doing. Yeah, my numbers are going away. Drop down to 22. Okay, I don't care.
You can't jinx it, man. You can't jinx it. You got to just go with it.
I remember, absolutely 1 billion% remember the 1980 Olympic Games and the everything that went with that, right? And we've talked about this before. We've talked about it. Let's get into some quick comments before we go more. Ryan Green, Port Bennington. BS, Justin, call out, hockey is life. Chris Shockey says, I was too. Hey, Chris, we missed you, buddy. Welcome back, man. We got another hi from Joseph. Hi, Joseph. Hi, you. Peggy said thank you. And Samantha, the soon-to-be birthday girl, is saying, hey, Sam, how are you doing? Her birthday's on Wednesday. We may have to do a special show just to say, we're going to do like a 5-minute show and just say happy birthday to Sam. Sing happy birthday to Sam. Oh, man. The Olympics last night. I got to tell you, that's what hockey should be. That's absolutely what hockey should be. The way those two teams came out, it's like they were friends until they hit the ice and they were bitter enemies, right? They were bitter enemies. And I mean, right off the bat, I think what was it? Colton Parayko got put into the bench. The Kachuk and somebody else put Parayko. I mean, Parayko's 6'6". He's a big man. They put him into the bench. Put him right in the bench. There was no love lost at all. And for me, it was absolutely incredible to watch that. Now, I did miss some of it. I fell asleep. Now, you got to remember, this game came on at 3 a.m. for me. 3 a.m. for me. And
Yep.
so I fell asleep a little bit there in the third, and I woke up and overtime was starting. I was like, oh my God, this last night. If you watched the show last night, I look like a freaking genius because I said that this game is going to mirror the Four Nation game. And lo and behold, if it didn't absolutely do that, it mirrored the Four Nation final to a T. To a T. Right? And it was absolutely, that's what hockey's supposed to be. Now, I'm going to say this. I know you hate it. But the 2 3-on-3s that we saw in the gold medal games were absolutely incredible. And they showed what 3-on-3 was supposed to be. And I'll tell, did you watch the gold medal game?
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it. Like I said, so don't get me wrong. The caveat with this is the one positive, the one reason I can say that I'm not going to shit all over this and the 3-on-3, the one caveat that this has going for it is you don't have the long change in 3-on-3 in this overtime. Now, with that being said, I'm playing devil's advocate there. That is nice. The NHL should adopt that to where they should not do the long change for overtime. They should not switch sides when it comes to the NHL, just like they did here. I didn't even
realize that. I'll be honest with you. I didn't even realize that it wasn't the long change.
Well, that's why it was so exciting, because you got to see how it should be played. Because with the long change, all the teams do is they circle back and they don't really try. They just kind of wear the other team down, and then they can't get a change. The reason this was so exciting was because you didn't have the long change. If you made a mistake, if you lost the puck for a split second, you can get off for line change. So you had fresh bodies coming on and off in quick transition. So that's what's a positive. But when I look at this as a gold medal game, I'm sorry, I'm still going to say I don't want to see 3-on-3 overtime. I want to see 5-on-5 in a gold medal game. It's fine that you didn't have it leading up to the gold medal game, but the gold medal game should have been continuous 5-on-5 until we got a winner.
The problem with that is I think if it would have gone 5-on-5, the USA would have lost that game. I will say that. If it goes 5-on-5, I think the USA loses that game. Now, go ahead.
Well, and don't get me wrong, that may be the case, but that's just the way that I view it, and I think it would have been better. It wasn't a horrible moment to see the U.S. win this, but it was disappointing to see that it was a 3-on-3 overtime, because when you just say what you just said, and don't get me wrong, both teams are incredible in this tournament. But when you say what you just said, that makes me believe that, like the way that sounded to me when you just said that was, the USA stood no chance. So if it went 5-on-5, they would have lost. So that tells me that Canada probably was the better team today. That's what that tells me.
They took 40-something shots. That's the most a goalie's ever faced. Hellebuyck faced so many shots, and Canada was coming at them, coming at. Lots of shots. Now, USA did a wonderful job of keeping the rebounds out, and for the most part, the refs kept the whistles in their pockets. Okay, that's the way it should be. They were out a little bit, but the one call was kind of iffy. I thought it could have gone either. I thought it should have been incidental minors. I thought it should have, you're calling hooking, but you also could have called holding the stick, because the guy clamped his wrist, clamped his arm down again, holding the stick. So you could have gone both ways on that.
I didn't have a problem with the officiating in this game. This game was exciting. Don't get me wrong. And I know I sound like a negative Nancy. Oh, it's 3-on-3, but that's just kind of how I view things. In a big game moment, it's just like the regular playoffs. In the playoffs, in the NHL playoffs, we don't see 3-on-3 overtime. We see 5-on-5. Yeah. So in the regular season, they play 3-on-3. We've talked about this ad nauseum. They need to change 3-on-3 overtime.
I agree.
I think for the magnitude of this game and the absolute atmosphere that this game brought, because the atmosphere was incredible from the jump, from the puck drop, the fans were absolutely going nuts. So the fact that this game ended 3-on-3 is very disappointing because of how good this game was. USA played to their strengths. I thought on paper, Canada has a better roster on paper, but US played to their strengths when it came to physicality and really wearing down Canada and really playing good defensively, even though they allowed 40 shots or whatever. I thought that they played to their strengths. And Canada, they didn't bury some of the chances that they had. I mean, you look at the Nathan McKinnon one where he was open net. So, this game could have been different without a different thing, but you got to give it to the storyline. Hellebuck played great. And you felt the elation on his face when you saw him like doing his celly, in the line when they were giving out the medals. You felt the weight lift off his shoulders. That is the first time Hellebuck has actually done something in a big time game.
Yeah. No,
first time.
Both goalies played amazing. Now, I'm going to ask this question. I don't want you to answer it yet. I want to see what our fans, the people that are watching us, our viewers, think. Why did Team Canada lose this game? I think there's a very, for me, it's obvious why Team Canada lost this game. There's two things that cost Team Canada this game. I want to see if people picked up on it. I've seen some of it. I've seen some of it on the internet, on Facebook and that. Sorry, Justin, that have kind of gone along this line, and I've seen it in some of the chat groups I'm in. But I think there's something else that a lot of people miss. So I want to see what our fans think. Right?
I won't answer it. I won't answer it yet. I'll let other people answer. But I probably, if someone gets it in the chat, I'll probably just go along and say that. But I think I have an idea of where you're going with what probably is the issue. There's two issues that I was seeing. Now, if you want to just give me my outsider thoughts, I won't answer. You don't have to tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah. Go ahead, you answer, and I won't say anything. I'll keep my message shut.
Well, for me, honestly, there was I crapped on the play when it happened, but Matt Boldy made an absolutely excellent play to score the goal, the first goal of the game. And I look at who's on defense there. Cale Makar and Devon Taves were the pairing at that point. They both got split, and I've always said this. You can back me up on this one. I say that Cale Makar is a fantastic defenseman. He's a great offensive defenseman. He showed it later on when he scored. He was the only one to score for Canada. I think Canada lacked on the defensive side of things. I think that although they didn't get heavily outplayed by the U.S., I thought that the U.S. took advantage of their opportunities. Yeah, the score was only 2-1, but I felt like there was a lot of times where the defense was like giving up some pizzas. They were really throwing some turnovers quite a bit for Team Canada was throwing a lot of turnovers and stuff. But for me, that would be the one weakness for me would be I thought the U.S. defense was a little stronger than the Canada defense. And my other one, I would say that Canada suffers from a star power issue where it's a play for yourself kind of mentality.
You're close to where I was going at. You're very, very close. He says, I just sent you a long messenger while the Canadians lost. I didn't see it, but here it is. I think the Canadians kept trying to hit Hellebuck low and in front of the crease. When we remember in round 1 last season, we kept hitting Hellebuck high over the shoulder from a distance. It's not a bad point. I bring it down to not regulation. Regulation, well played, both sides. And Boldy with the split, the Boldy with that move where he picks the puck up, absolutely incredible. In overtime, in 3-on-3 overtime, I caught it right away, and no one's talked about this. Canada went to an NHL-style overtime where they kept bringing the puck back out to regroup, right? The USA didn't. The USA was aggressive on the puck, both in and out of the zone. Very aggressive on the puck. And then, how many times have you heard me say, I don't think McDavid makes people, the other players around him, as better as everyone thinks he does. I don't think he makes players around him better. I don't. And last night or yesterday, whenever you want to call it, in the Olympics, he tried to win that game on his own, 1-on-2. And what happened is he coughs up the puck. The Team USA now basically 3-on-1, and Bennington is out of position for 3-on-1 because he doesn't know who to cover. He's covering the puck to the best of his ability, but he's also got to come out of the net because it's 3-on-1. He can't stay in the net. He stays in the net. It's going in the, so he's got to come out. Mm-hmm. Team Canada not playing an aggressive 3-on-3 cost him that game. Plain and simple. That's what I think cost him. Everyone is putting the blame on McDavid for trying to win the game and all that on his own. But he had to do that because they didn't play an aggressive 3-on-3. Am I right?
Yeah,
do you agree with me? Disagree with me? What do you think?
I mean, for me, I don't particularly think it was the sole reason they lost. I do agree, though. Like, when you look at the game, the start of the game, right? When you look at the start of the game, U.S. came out firing on all cylinders. They were hot. You felt the energy for U.S. I think Canada slowly kind of took that game over, and then I would say both teams played the game pretty evenly, but I think Canada was probably getting more of the controlled offense. And when we get to overtime, yeah, I do agree with you that you saw a little bit more aggressiveness from the U.S. And a little bit of sit back from Canada. And yeah, that is Connor McDavid to a T. I mean, trying to, do Connor McDavid things and trying to split the team and trying to score a goal, to be the hero and everything like that. It's so hard for me to pinpoint and be like, oh, it's McDavid's fault. Oh, it's this, it's that. Because over time, and it all comes back for me, at least, just to the 3-on-3 aspect. I think it could have went either way. If Canada won that game, I would have been saying the same thing I'm saying now. For me, for me at least, and like I said, what's up?
Let me kind of re-paraphrase my thoughts. The reason the game-winning goal went in, for me, the reason the game-winning goal went in, and I say why they lost it because that's the game-winning goal, was that Canada tried to play an NHL style of 3-on-3, and McDavid tried to do McDavid things instead of, in that situation, you've got to 3-on-3. You've got to move that puck. You've got to keep that puck moving. You've got to get them either moving their feet in the wrong direction or stagnated with your puck movement, and they didn't do it. And in trying to win the game on his own, he hung his teammates out to dry. He hung Bennington out to dry. Right? Stephen Glass says in overtime, Canada was playing not to lose. The USA was playing to win. I'm kind of okay with that. Chris Shockey, they started the Olympics before the opening ceremony. Why not end it after the closing ceremony? Well, they did start the women's hockey tournament before the opening ceremony. That is true, because Chris said, I didn't put this up, but Chris had said that he had said that the comment was that they're on a timeline. They're on a tighter timeline, right? And he's right. They are on a little bit of a timeline for the closing ceremony, so I get that, right? I understand that part of it. I really do. And now I can't find the comment where he said that. I know I've seen it. Here we go. They have time constraints in the Olympics, so they have to get the game over. I mean, it was the last medal to be put out, right? And now let's just say this: there was no shootout here. It was going to go to a golden goal. It was 20-minute periods with an 18-minute break until somebody scored. The 3-on-3 made it highly more likely that it wasn't going to go multiple overtimes. It could have, but it made it highly unlikely, right?
Well, look, like I said, it's not the worst thing in the world to me, but I'm sorry. Like I said, the emotion was electric. The building was absolutely bonkers. After US scored, and love to see Hughes's reaction. But I just think back to the hard days of scoring goals and thinking about the playoffs and the NHL playoffs, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, yeah, you're on a time constraint. I understand that, but you're in the gold medal game, bro. Like, you're playing for your country. How freaking cool would it have been to see a goal happen 5-on-5? Both teams had the same opportunity to earn it, and whoever would have earned it would have really, really felt it. I mean, not that they didn't feel it now, but
Okay.
I like I said, no one can tell me anything that will make me change my mind that will say, oh, I preferred this 3-on-3. That's the only thing that I will say, like I said, positively, is I like that there was not a long change in this overtime. That's about the positive I'll give it.
I do understand your purpose and what you're saying. The problem is these two teams were almost so evenly matched. You could have had 4 or 5 overtimes, 5-on-5, right? And the chance of this game ending on a garbage goal was highly, highly likely. I'm talking about a goal that hits somebody else's skate. It hits a skate, or it's just a complete garbage goal. One that, and you go, why did the Olympics end on that goal? Right? This was too good of a game to end on that goal. I kind of feel like now. I do believe before they went 4-4 and the 3-on-3 and went to a shootout even in medal games. I think it did at one point go to a shootout in medal games. Now they've changed this. They've changed this tournament so much. I mean, the tournament going back to 1980, right? Everyone thinks that the U.S.-Soviet game was the gold medal game, and it wasn't. But actually, so the Soviets lose that game. You would think that the Soviets were playing for the bronze medal. They weren't. They were playing for the silver medal, right? Because in that tournament, 1-1 played each other in the semifinals, right? So 1-1 played each other in the semifinals, and then 2-on-2 played each other. The winner got the loser got the winner type thing. So I think it was Switzerland that I forget who we played that game, Sweden or whatever. They didn't even get a medal. They got, well, actually, I think back then they gave out bronzes to both teams. I know at some point when competitions like that, both teams got bronzes. So I could be wrong, but I think that has happened in the past, right? So, but I'm not 100% sure. But overall, I mean, I can't complain. I can't complain about the game. I can't complain about the way it was played, and it was just Dave Kirsten. They got he's an uncle of one of the players. He was on the '80 Olympic team. Ruzioni had said, I don't know if you heard this quote or this comment that he made, that he had gone and told the players, "Hey, you need to win this so everybody leaves us alone." Oh, sorry, Ruzioni. No one's going to leave you guys alone. What you guys did, that will never. What the? Do you remember what the average age of Team USA in 1980 was?
No, I wasn't alive at that point.
Okay, well, I know, but I mean, maybe do me a favor. I just lost my place. Take a guess what the average age of Team USA was.
In what? 1980?
In 1980.
Can you tell me if you tell me who was on that team, would that give me the answer? Or
even if I told you who, I mean, I don't think most of these guys aren't household names, right? Michael Ruzioni, Jim Craig, Dave Christensen, I don't remember all of them off the top of my head.
Um,
Suter's father was on the team. He was the first of the 80 team to pass away in 2014, right? He froze on me. I'll give him a second to come back. I see Stocky's. Yeah, you froze. There you go. You're back.
I would, well, seeing as the names that you just gave me, because I don't know much about, like, I know some of them, but crazy. But I think I do. Like, I don't, like I said, I wasn't alive at that point, but they were. I know that they were like young, right? So like they were like one of the youngest.
They were, and this number still. I've seen a couple here. Chris is saying 17 or 18.
It's like
Aaron says
maybe
17.
That's
actually a little low.
Can I guess? So I said it's young, but I'm gonna say I'm not gonna go 17 or 18 or 18. I'm gonna go. You said it's that's a little low. I'm gonna say like 21 to 22.
It was 21. Average age of that team was just a little over 21 years old. Now, what do you think the average age of the Red Army team was?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I'm not 100% sure of this number, but I think it's right. Was 29. Most of the Red Army team had been playing together for 15 years. 15 years these guys have been playing together. This was why the big thing about the professional versus non-professional athletes. That's why Canada didn't play in the Olympic hockey tournament a couple of times, because the Red Army team was a professional team, plain and simple. And they got paid to play hockey, but they didn't get paid to play hockey. They were in the Army, so the Army paid them, but they were paid to play the game of hockey. It was a loophole, right? What those kids did and what Herb Brooks did, and there's no way in any sport that will ever be repeated. And Herb Brooks understood what it took to beat the Russians more than anybody else in the entire world. Right? He had 60 players. He had 60 players to choose from. 3 days, 60 players. They brought these guys in here at great expense. The USA Hockey, the Olympic Committee paid for it. Herb sent them all home after 3 hours, except 20 or 26. Right? Just sent them home. They said, these are the ones I want. It wasn't the 20 best ones. It was the 26 best ones. It was the 26 right ones. And both the Miracle on Ice in 1983 and Miracle in, what was that, 2006 or 7, whenever that movie came out. I was still active duty when that movie came out. So it had to be, even earlier, maybe 2003. Because I saw it in Japan, maybe 2003. So that was so well done. And then on Netflix, there's a documentary on the Team USA, and they even cover what I talked about with the Ruzioni in this documentary on Netflix. You know, I've talked about it before with the Ruzioni and how this one makes it like, the Miracle makes it like a Ruzioni was the guy that was going to get cut, and he wasn't. He was the guy that Brooks all along was looking at to be a captain of the team, right? He was that guy. He was that he was the anti-Jim Craig in a way, where Bud Brooks wanted the guy that, with Jim Craig, wanted the guy that wouldn't take the test. In Ruzioni, he wanted the guy that took and understood the test. And that's what he was looking for. And he was so smart in that. And it's a shame. It's a shame that he is not alive to witness what happened, because it felt like the way Team USA played, it felt like Herb Brooks was coaching them. Now, I'm going to ask my older guys if they agree with me there. Nelson's grandpa and uncle was on the 60 team, and his dad was on the 80 team. Wow. That's crazy, man. Brock Nelson, yeah. I did too, Chris. 3 a.m. to watch this. I did too, buddy. Chris is in Hawaii with me. Go ahead, bud. I know I'm over talking.
No, you're good. And I don't mean to change the subject, but I kind of wanted to talk about how everything happened. I mean, obviously we saw, the medals given out. I thought it was a cool ceremony. We saw Canada. They just looked absolutely just, depleted and just disappointed. And obviously that's going to happen. And I'm glad to see that type of emotion. It's sad to see it, but because I look at a guy like Celebrini, like you just saw the sadness in his face, dude, when they're going through the line and everything like that. And I'm like, man, that's just crazy. Like, what a moment for that young kid, especially that he had such a great tournament. He's been such a good player in the NHL. But I kind of wanted to talk about Nathan McKinnon's comments. Did you see those?
No, I did not. I did not see them.
Well, supposedly, I don't know if these are legit. I mean, I saw them. They were reported, and they were reported by some credible people. And it said, he said, "Well, you be the judge of who was the better team." And the reason that I find that so controversial to me, well, one, he's the guy that misses the open net, that possibly could have gave Canada a win, right? Yeah. And then that's kind of the reason why, as a Blues fan, I mean, obviously as a Blues fan, we're not big Colorado Avalanche fans in general, but that's kind of the attitude and the behavior on why I'm not a big Colorado fan. I think Nathan McKinnon is a great player, but with comment like that, it makes me think that he's just a sore loser. And I get it; it's tough. You lose you lose for your country, and that sucks and everything like that. But when you make comments like that, I feel that you're being a sore loser, and I don't think that's right. So obviously, it's not a polarizing topic, and it's nothing too crazy. He said nothing too crazy, and I've talked about how I like NHL players to show emotion, but I just kind of think that's just a little disrespectful in my opinion. Like, you know who the better team was. Like, you be the judge who the better team was. Like, yeah, that's great. You have 40 shots. You still lost. Yeah. You're going to have to live with it. Live with it. You lost.
Yeah, no. A little sore, but damn, the emotions were so high. You got to feel salty on the losing end. And I get that. I got no problem. Matthew can talk so much trash on McDavid. Herbs was coaching Quinn Hughes. Yeah, I mean, I didn't see the comments, but I understand them. And you're right. For Team Canada, there was only one medal that they wanted to win at this Olympics, period. End of story. Canada, the winter country, you would think Canada would be one of the top Winter Olympic countries in the world, and they're not. There is only one medal in the Winter Olympics that matters to them, and it's the hockey gold medal. Period. End of story. That's it. So for him to make those comments, okay, you know what? You're right. Maybe you were the better team. But in the word of the immortal Serrano, look at the scoreboard now, bitch.
Well, and like I said, I don't get me wrong, guy. You know that I've said it. I love the emotion. I want NHL to adopt more of the emotion into everything. But yeah, I'm going to sit here and say this. That is why, if you're from an outsider looking in, obviously we're Blues fans, so we're not the biggest Colorado fans in general. I think Nathan McKinnon's an excellent player. I think he's one of the best in the NHL. He has been for years now. But like I said, it shows that you don't have as much class. It shows that you don't really respect the other people. And although I do understand, as Canada, you want to win the gold medal. Every team wants to win the gold medal. But you can't make those comments, especially when you were the guy that missed the open net that could have changed the game. So I feel his frustration. But then again, let's be honest. Nathan McKinnon has never held his frustration very well. When Nathan McKinnon's frustrated, he is he's very noticeable when he's frustrated. And you can tell when he's frustrated.
Yep, I agree with you on that. Absolutely, I agree with you. Okay, I'm going to read some names off to you. I want you to tell me how many of these names you recognize. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Bill Baker, Neil Broughton, Dave Christensen, Steve Kristoff, Jim Craig, Mike Eruzione, John Harrington, Steve Jazanik, Mark Johnson, Rob McClanahan, Ken Morrow, Jack O'Callahan, Mark Pavlovich, Mike Ramsey, Buzz Schneider, Dave Silk, Eric Stobel, Bob Suter, Phil Verchota, Mark Wells.
Yeah, maybe about 3 or 4 of them.
How many of those names that I just read are in the Hockey Hall of Fame?
I couldn't even tell you. Probably not many.
How about I could be wrong, but I'm pretty certain the number is 0. 0. Yeah. Now, I do think Jack O'Callahan was the first player to win an Olympic gold medal and a Stanley Cup in the same year. I could be wrong on that, but I think he was. It was either O'Callahan or McClanahan. It was one of the two. I think I want to say it was no, because they got him. Nope, because he won it. The player won it with the Islanders in that year. Can't remember who it is. I thought it was one of the two I just mentioned, but I could be wrong. Maybe somebody else knows. Right? I'm doing a quick look, just kind of going over their names to see if someone pops up. No, Herb Brooks was the coach. O'Callahan, it's got him. No, Morrow. Oh, it was Ken Morrow, right? And he's a member of the United States, but he's not a member of the Hockey Hall of Fame. So I think it was Ken Morrow that won the, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So he was an inaugural member of all 4 Stanley Cup teams. So he was the first one. Ken Morrow was the first one to win the Stanley Cup and the gold medal in the same year. Right? So now going back to what I was talking about. Now let me read another list of names. Now I'm going to kill these, but I'm going to see how many of them you recognize. Right? And trust me, they are not easy to say. Shit, I don't even know. You know what? Screw it. Well, you're blind, so that doesn't do me any good. I was going to put it on the screen.
What are you on right now?
Huh?
What are you looking at?
I am on Wikipedia looking at the ice hockey at the 1980 Winter Olympics page. Right? And then scrolling down on medalists, it has a list of all the medalists for the Soviet Union. Now, if I remember correctly, 5 of those guys, 5 of them are in the Hockey Hall of Fame. I think Fetisov is. I know Tretiak is. There's a couple other. I remember reading like 5 of them are in the in the Hockey Hall of Fame, right? Uh, I'm trying to. I can't remember. I'm seeing if it. Yeah, it doesn't have it, but I know that a bunch of them were in the. Are like 5 of them are in the Hockey Hall of Fame, right? Yeah, Aaron. I didn't want to put it up earlier. Her birthday is Wednesday, so we talked about that. I think. Do you feel like we've talked enough about the Olympics, or you want to talk about it a little more?
I think we covered it. Like I said, I think for my closing conclusive thoughts on it, I thought the game was really exciting to watch. I thought for a game where you can't fight, I felt the energy was very high for both teams. I felt both teams were physical, especially the U.S. I knew that was where they were going to play to their strengths at. U.S. came out hot. Canada kind of took it over after that. I thought, for the most part, I thought Canada slightly edged them out throughout most of the game. And then in overtime, the tides kind of turned, and then we saw the goal. Great celebration by Jack Hughes. Honestly, unlikely, but it was an unlikely hero. And the reason I say that, not because I don't think Jack Hughes is a great player, 3-on-3 opened it up to anyone being the winner. In that game. So I think if you saw 5-on-5, I'm not being disrespectful, but I think a bigger name probably would have stepped up and scored the game-winning goal.
I agree with you. I don't disagree with that. But the 3-on-3 is what led. The 3-on-3 is what led McDavid to try and win that game on his own. Right?
And Hellebuck, I will say, I've talked about Hellebuck. I've talked about the Winnipeg Jets ad nauseum. And I will say, I was listening to the commentators. I don't know if anybody caught it, but the absolute shit talking that they were doing on the Winnipeg Jets in that, because they were talking about Hellebuck and how good he was playing and how he actually has a solid team around him. They were just absolutely diarrheaing all over the Winnipeg Jets, which I thought was hilarious. But
both goalies played amazing, right? Bennington did not lose that game, and Hellebuck didn't win that game. If you know what I mean.
And it was what's crazy, and I do a gaming thing where I play like competitive 6v6 and all that, and the amount of people that actually were blaming Bennington on that first goal in the Discord that I was in, I was like, you can't blame Bennington. Freaking Devon Taves and Cale Makar, of all people, get beat up the middle. You can't blame George Bennington for that.
Oh, absolutely not. There was no way to blame Bennington for that.
Boldy made a great move. He deserved that, and he absolutely made a great move. And you can't blame the goalie for 2 defensemen of that caliber getting beat up the middle. Should never happen.
Well, especially the move. Look what he does. He picks that puck up, bounces. I mean, he does it Crosby in the Winter Classic, the inaugural Winter Classic. Picking that puck up, bouncing it so he can get through the defense. And he puts the goal in on his opposite side. He's going across, and he puts the goal in short side. Right? He opposite side. That's just an amazing shot. I'm not going to fault any goalie for that. I don't care how good you are. I'm not going to fault any goalie for that. The goal Hellebuck gave up. Hell of a goal by Canada there. Great to open up that little hole that they got it into.
Cale Makar's placement of that shot was great. And when I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's probably one. And I guarantee it's probably one Hellebuck probably wants back. But the placement of the shot was good on that one. But it's probably one that he probably wanted back, considering how good of a game he actually did play. But it was a good game. Like I said, they brought the energy. I thought the crowd was lively because – we see it all the time when you go into like playoff games or big atmosphere games. It's nice to see the crowd into it because it makes the games that much better.
Oh, Bennett should have got a 5 minutes for that. Wow. I missed much of the third period. I kind of fell asleep. I just saw Bennett high stick on Hughes. He should have got five. Oh, no, he didn't get a double minor. Okay. What about Team USA penalty killing? What was
They
it?
were
18 or 19 for 19? 0%, 100%. They didn't give up. They didn't give up a power play goal. Did not give up a power play goal.
Yeah, they were good. Canada, our U.S. was very, very good on the penalty kill.
Right. This is the thing where the difference between Team USA and Team Canada, for the most part, went with the best players they had. Team USA, and I know this sounds so fucking messed up, went for the best team that they could put on the ice. Because there's other players that there were some players like JT Miller and somebody, they put guys out there that could kill penalties instead of guys that could score goals. And in the long run, it worked. Team Canada was at almost 50%. Coming into this game, 3% on the power play. Right? 43%, and USA shut them out. The 5-on-3, yeah, the 5-on-3.
Yeah, 5-on-3. Yeah, 5-on-3 was an excellent. I was like, oh,
either one of them were that great of a shot.
No, well,
Right.
and I was looking at it, and I was just like, yeah, I can't. U.S. Really killed off a great 5-on-3, but Canada really missed an opportunity there to score 5-on-3. But
yeah,
this was a thing in my book where on paper, Canada should have scored more than for the team that they had, they should have scored more. But the defense of the U.S. Made it very good. Yeah, Canada had a lot of shots, but again, I look at the shots and I say a lot of them were easy pickings for Hellebuck. A lot of them were shots from the outside, shots from up high. Not a lot of traffic. I mean, Hellebuck played great. Don't get me wrong, but was this an absolute firing squad? Sure, from a shot standpoint, but not from a he had to put on an absolute clinic. Like he had some great saves in there, but I've believe me,
he didn't take all 40 shots. He didn't take 40 shots from the house.
No, he didn't. He took
less than half of those from the house. The majority of them were outside. And yes, Wendy says Canada needed more goal scorers. Maybe worse. GM from St. Louis, who was GM of Canada, should have taken a goal scorer from Wendy. No, that was coming. You know what? I disagree with that. They had the superstars. They had the goal scorers on that team. When
doesn't
they
matter.
Didn't have on that team were the team guys. They didn't have the team guys. Other than Wilson. I mean, Wilson was there for his honoriness.
Right? Yeah, I mean, Bedard. But no, I'm sorry. I mean, he's a good player, but I'm sorry. He's had a great year, but no. What they had was probably what they should have went with. Maybe a few names I could say like, and that was the same way I felt about some of the U.S. guys, like JT Miller. JT Miller hasn't had a great year. I didn't think JT Miller was a right guy for Team USA, but they came in and like Guy said, I think that they played to their strengths. U.S. played to their strengths because on paper, Canada was the better roster on paper. I don't think there's any denying that. Canada was the better roster on paper, but the gutsiness and the defensive ability, which I think stood out a lot in this game, I thought that Canada had more of an offensive threat, but I think U.S. put on more of a defensive clinic. Is how I'm going to describe
I want to
it.
address this comment. I don't think Jason understands how things work. He said Bedard was on injury reserve. I think they should have brought him in for the gold medal game if they knew Crosby wasn't good. Well, the problem with that, Chris, is Bedard wasn't even in Italy. Bedard was an injured reserve up until the rosters had to be locked. When the 5-man or 26-man, whatever that number is, had to be locked. Bedard wasn't on it. Bedard would have come on if somebody would have got injured prior to roster lock. Right? So he wasn't even. Bedard was not even in Italy. And he couldn't have come in Italy because he wasn't on the locked roster. Right?
Well, and I want to say this, and it's going to sound kind of dickish, but I don't really care. Connor Bedard's not changing the outcome in this game. Bedard's still there. I think U.S. still wins the game how they won the game. Bedard's still young. He's a good player. He's had a great year. Bedard is not an Nathan McKinnon. Bedard is not a Connor McDavid. He's not a guy that's going to put the team on his shoulders and walk through 5 guys and score a goal. It's just not going to happen. So whatever you saw, whether you want him in or not, it doesn't matter because Bedard would have changed nothing. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't think it would have changed any. I'm looking something up real quick. Hold on. I'm trying to figure something out here real quick. Just give me a moment. That one. Okay, here we go. This was the men's team. Matt Boldy, Kyle Connor, Jack Eichel, Brock Faber, Jake Gunsel, Noah Hamlin, Connor Hellebuck, Jack Hughes, Quinn Hughes, Clayton Keller, Jason Lacombe, Dylan Larkin, Austin Matthews, Charlie McAvoy, JT Miller, Brock Nelson, Jake Ottinger, Jake Sanderson, Jacob Savid, Jeremy Swayman, Tage Thompson, Brady Tkachuk, Matthew Tkachuk, Vincent Torchek, Zach Wierzynski. Big name I didn't read there. At least I think I did. Maybe I read it and I didn't realize it. No, it was there. Never mind. Okay, that was the men's team. I'm not sure. What's it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 25-man team. Right? Now let's go. I'm going to pull it up here. Going to pull it up here in a second. Team Canada. This is Team Canada. These are the players that they could have used today. Travis Simon, Devon Taves, Cale Makar, Sam Bennett, Nick Suzuki, Sam Reinhart, Bo Harvard, Macklin Celebrini, Thomas Harley, Seth Jarvis, Shea Theodore, Nathan McKinnon, Darcy Kemper, Brandon Hagel, Tom Wilson, Josh Morrissey, Logan Thompson, Jordan Bennington, Colton Parayko, Mark Stone, Brad Marchand, Sidney Crosby, Drew Dowdery, Mitch Marner, and Connor McDavid. Guess whose name I did not read? Right? He wasn't even in Italy. He couldn't have played in the game no matter what. That was the 25-man roster that they could use. Right? And remember, on the ice, it's only 20 men. Right? It's you have the 12 forwards, 6 defensemen, 2 goalies. Right? I think that comes up to 20 if my math's somewhat right. Right? So that's what I understand it to be. I could be wrong, but that's what I understand it to be. So there's no way that he could have played in there's no way that he could have played in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean, like I said, it would not have changed anything. It really would not have, and I hate to say that, but it's the truth. It would not have changed anything. But what they had was good. It was a good team. What they had, regardless. It just they didn't have it. They didn't bury their opportunities they had. And like I said both goalies were good. I said Hellebuck was great in this game. But then again, I was looking at the shots again, like I was just talking to you, Guy, and I want to say this: that Hellebuck was good. There wasn't a like an influx of bunch of shots in high danger. So with that being said, I will say I still think you get the same outcome if you have Jake Ottinger in the net. I still think that he would. I think he would have played the exact same game that Connor Hellebuck played.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do. So that's an hour that we just spent on something we were supposed to spend 30 minutes on. So let's get into what's going to happen on Wednesday. The NHL is back. There is about 2 weeks to the trade deadline. I think the trade deadline is March 9th. I could be wrong on that. Right? I could be wrong on that. I do think it is March 9th, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, Wednesday is when it starts back up.
I know we play on Thursday. They restart on Wednesday. Yeah. I'm going to see if I can pull this up. March 6th. I was close. It's on March 6th. Right? After that date, any player that is traded or claimed off of waivers will be ineligible to play in the Stanley Cup. So you've got to be on March 6th. The players that you have on your roster are your Stanley Cup playoff roster. Right? You can't do anything else. You know what, Jason? I'm gonna bring this up. Okay. You got to give me a second, Jason. You know I love you, right, brother? You know that you are one of my best friends. You are the top notch. I love you to death, bud. But you are so out of your. You sometimes you read things and you don't read them the right way. And in this statement, and I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to bring it up from the group so I can actually show it what it is. You got to give me a moment, though. Okay, you're so off the mark here. It's not even funny, right? He's talking about Brady Tkachuk's comment. Did you hear it? Seeing if I can bring it up here. Okay. Give me a second. I'm trying to bring it up.
I didn't see. I probably did see it when I skimmed on it, but I didn't look in depth at it. If I'm honest, okay. He didn't tell me about it.
He posted it before the game, so I got to kind of scroll on because there's a bunch. The guys were absolutely amazing. Shockey was really, really, really taking care of the group for us, and he does. Chris, thank you. You do a wonderful job of maintaining that. I'm going to make you an admin, Chris, because you put so much in there. I'm going to make you an admin and put you in the admin group. Because I think you can help out there. Our buddy Andrew Willis, the hockey writers guy, he put Blues Views put this out, and this is how messed up how wrong Blues Views is. I'm going to ask you if there's a name missing from this list. Okay, are you ready? Before I get to the other comment, Blues Views put this out. One city in the world can have multiple interests playing on both sides of today's hockey game, and that city is St. Louis. Team USA, Brady Tkachuk, Matthew Tkachuk, Clayton Keller. Team Canada, Jordan Bennington, Colton Parayko. Is there a name missing from that list?
I'll be honest. I didn't even. I wasn't paying extremely in depth. If I'm completely honest. Okay. You might have to. Can you read the names again? Sorry.
Okay. Team USA, Brady Tkachuk, Matthew Tkachuk, Clayton Keller. Mm-hmm. Team Canada, Jordan Bennington, Colton Parayko.
You said Bennington, right?
Yes. Bennington and Parayko. So
Bennington and Parayko, and then
both the Tkachuk brothers and Keller.
Yeah.
There's one name missing from that list.
I did see this. I did see this from Blues Views or whatever.
Yeah.
Who the hell was missing? I can't remember.
So they're putting Blues players on this list, right? Is there a former Blues player who played in that game who's not on this list?
Oh, I thought that they were. Well, technically, none of the other three didn't play for us.
No, former Blues player.
Oh, former Blues player that played. Am I an idiot here? I might be an idiot.
Tage Thompson.
Oh.
He played for the Blues. He was a draft pick of the Blues. He's connected to St. I mean, he's the reason a lot of people think that he might be the reason we won the cup because we traded him away to get O'Reilly. I'm sorry, you got to put Tage Thompson in that list for me, right? Now, and yeah, maybe it's a stretch. Maybe it's a stretch.
I mean, and what is this list to exactly, if I may ask? I mean, because for me, like, what is it? What I didn't, like I said, I didn't look in depth. I saw the post, but I didn't look in depth on what this actually was.
Saying that the city of St. Louis is the only city that has players on both sides, right? That this, we have players that were born here, players that play here, on both sides. But to boost your St. Louis interest, I think you have to put Tage Thompson on that list. And Chris says Tage is from Illinois, so I didn't know that, but I think he's from up in Chicago. But
I mean, I get it. I guess I can understand that, but like at the same time, I'm also not gonna like you're not losing your mind, but I'm not gonna like lose my mind over that. Like that's like I mean, it's so minuscule to me to be like, oh, I truly care about that so much,
Oh. Tage played youth hockey for the Junior Rivermen in Peoria. Okay. Yeah, that's almost St. Louis-ish. So here's the comment that Jason is talking about.
Well, hang on.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to make sure that you know that I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just saying that I understand. I understand what you're saying. I'm not like as big of a broken up about that.
It's not a big deal. It's just when some of these anonymous accounts go out there and put stuff out there, it's get it right. If you're gonna put a post out like that, get it right. Especially the fact that you want to be anonymous and nobody can say anything to you, right?
Well, and the thing is, in Blues Muse this is not the first time he's, that he's posted something maybe questionable.
Yeah. Here it is. It's, they've got there it is, and that was the goal. It's on NHL Network. I just watched the USA win the gold medal. I went to bed right after this. I was so tired it wasn't even funny, so I didn't watch the gold medal preview. So I get to watch it now. Our presentation, what they did with Mikko. Oh yeah, Mikko wasn't. Nico Mikkola wasn't.
Mikko Mikkola was on Finland.
Yeah, Finland. He wasn't in the gold medal game. I don't know if anybody else was in the gold medal game that had St. Louis connections.
Which might I add, I was pulling for Finland, if I'm honest.
Yeah. So here you go. This is the quote by Matthew Tkachuk. You're not playing for yourself. You're playing for your country. You're playing for the guys that have come before you and the generation. Now, Jason responded, sir, are you saying you're playing for yourself in the NHL and not the fans? Because if it's so, I'm done. Jason, I hate to break it to you, but 99.9% of the players in the NHL are playing for themselves. Right? I mean, they do have a loyalty to a team and a loyalty to fans, but this is their job. Do you do your job for everybody else? I don't think so. Right? This is different. The only people that I can say do their job for somebody else are people in the military. Those people absolutely do their job for somebody else, and that's about it. You're not going to find many others. So that's why, Jason, I love you to death. Love you to death. But I love you to death. However, you're off base here. And Scary is saying, Scary's calling me out. Incorrect. Avs had Nelson for the USA and the big three for Canada. Okay, so that's 4. We had 5. 6 if you count Thompson. So I don't know. Right? That's just how, I mean, yeah, maybe I'm reaching for stars there, or reaching for straws there. But I just think in this point with Jason on this comment, he's off base there. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just me being me.
I mean, most NHL players, like you said, it's their job. You know, we all have jobs, and they're playing for their jobs. The only people that I can physically say maybe that NHL players are playing for, and it makes sense, just like anybody who does their job, is their wives, their kids. That's who they're playing for. Yeah, their family. That's who they're playing for. They're not playing for the average fan. I'm sorry. And I think that's right. They're not playing for the average fan. And I know that sounds bad because of, the fans or who support them and everything like that. But we enjoy the sport of hockey. We're not like, I'm not like saying like, oh, I want these guys to play for me. I want them to dedicate their game to me. Like, they're not going to do that.
No.
So.
No, I'm with, just how I feel. I just think he was a little off base. I'm just looking over this list real quick. Yeah, Tage Thompson's the kind of the outlier there. I think you can say that he has a solid connection to St. Louis, being that they drafted him and he played. I want to say he played probably 60 games, 70 games to St. Louis before they traded him. Right? He played his rookie season in St. Louis before they traded him.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, I think that's an interesting list. And yeah, you do got to kind of be accurate when you're throwing out lists like that. Like I said, I wasn't like too broken up about that whole thing. Like him not putting Tage Thompson on that list. I mean, it is what it is kind of thing. But and actually, speaking of Tage, I don't know if you actually watched the medals being handed out, but I felt so weird. Tage Thompson gave me a weird feeling because I felt like even he won the game, his team won the game, and I felt like he just didn't even give 2 Fs. just the, like, when he took that medal and they gave him whatever, I think those like plushy things or something like that. I don't know. When he took that plushy thing, I felt like he just had zero emotion. He's like, I want to just get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Well, I think some of that might be, he got left off the 4-Nation team last year. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so actually that brings me to my point. I want to talk about this real quick and then we'll get into the Blues a little bit or what we think is going to happen. You know what? We'll get into that and we'll talk about my all-star stuff later. So trade deadline, March 6th, week and a half away. What do we think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen with our St. Louis Blues? Right?
It's going to be interesting. I'll tell you that. Like, and for me, the Blues are always an interesting thing because we think that the Blues are going to make moves sometimes at the trade deadline or before them. And then they don't. They stand pat. This year, I don't see that being the case with some of the guys that were in this tournament. Kind of showing up. You have Dvorsky, who I think has pretty much made himself in this tournament this year, to where he's going to be on this roster. He's going to stay, and he's going to probably be a mainstay for this Blues team. But as for like the other guys, your main piece that you're probably going to be moving, and you're going to be trying to move on from Justin Falk. You're going to try to move on from Braden Shin. Justin Falk is the main one for me because he's having a career year and his value is at his highest. So you can't hold off and hope that he plays the same that he is this year. You have to take what you're going to get for him right now because his trade value is at the highest. Because who's to say that he doesn't go back to what he was the previous 2 seasons, which I don't think he was bad, but from a producing standpoint, this is the best season he's had in a while. So are you just going to wait and stand pat and hope that he continues that? If I'm Doug Armstrong and Alexander Steen, no, I would say you trade him to get something for him because his trade value is at his highest right now.
Yeah,
what that is, I don't know.
No, I'm okay with Falk. I think Falk is gone. I also think one other player is gone. 2 players are gone. Right? First of all, let me tell you this: even if the Blues went on a run, they're not making the playoffs. They are next to last. They are next to last in the standings. While the standings are somewhat close, there are way too many teams for them to have to pass to do anything. They are not making the playoffs. I'm telling you that they are sellers. Mm-hmm. I absolutely believe they are sellers right now. Right? They are absolutely positively sellers right now. So I think Benny and Shockey said it. Benny's gone. I absolutely agree with that. Bennington is getting traded.
Well, and we talked about this. And for me, I hate to pat myself on the back, guy. I hate to pat myself because I love Jordan Bennington. I do. And he played really, really well in this tournament. But what did I say before this all started? And it's actually 2 things. I said that this is all going to determine how he plays in this Olympics. Well, he played great. His stock is going to be through the roof now. So you're going to have teams that are calling for him. At least you should. I mean, if you're a playoff team and you're not trying to call Doug Armstrong and the Blues and trying to get Jordan Bennington, then you don't know what you're doing for your organization when it comes to the playoffs. That's a guy that you want for your playoff run.
I said this last night. I talked about this last night, right? The thing is, the only ones who believed that Bennington's stock was low was fans. I guarantee you nobody in the NHL looks at Bennington's stock as being low. Now,
no.
so I know you probably haven't seen the show. I did not call you out last night, but I did say, and this is in the fairness of disclosure, right? You bring up the goals versus expected stat a lot, right?
Goals saved above expected. Yeah.
Yeah. I do not believe in that stat one bit. And again, it's because to me, it's something. It's a formula someone put together, and because it's a formula like that, I think there's a lot that it misses, right? Because you could add something else and change it altogether, right? You add one thing and you could change that formula altogether. And so, and again, you use it, that's fine. I don't. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
I don't use it like it's not something like an end all be all, but it is a stat, and I'm pretty okay with saying how I've been saying it. Bennington just has not made the saves that the Blues have realistically needed this year, and there's been games where he's shown up and the Blues haven't shown up defensively, but there should be no, and I don't think there is any argument because you've seen it for the last couple of weeks now that Bennington has not been Bennington of old, like the Bennington that we know. Bennington has given up a lot of weak goals this year. He's been the root cause of a lot of games being lost this year, which we have never been able to say that. Jordan Bennington has always been the guy I don't
think he's been the root cause of as many games. I think that the style of defense played in front of him has a lot to do with it. Has he given up some weak goals? Yes, he has given up weak goals. But at the same time, has the defense played as well in front of him to help him out so he doesn't have to overwork on those weak goals? No. So that's my point.
Well, it's the same thing. It's the same thing I would say about Hofer. Hofer's been the root cause of some games being lost. It's both goaltenders. Both goaltenders have been at fault for poor performances this year. So But I said it. I said that the Olympics were going to be the true test for Jordan Bennington on whether or not his stock is going to rise, whether he's going to fall. He played a great Olympics. His stock is high, so the Blues need to. And I do agree with you. The fans think that his stock is low, but the owners do not. I think the owners believe in him and everything like that. But
owners and GMs know that that's going to cost them to get him.
Yeah, know that he's a good player, know that he's a good goalie. But I want to say that Jordan Bennington, you need to look for him. And I was listening to the Last Minute Blues podcast. I know you say you don't listen to many podcasts other than our own, and and maybe a few times you'll catch something. But they were talking about how Jordan Bennington will most likely be an off-season deal, and I could see that. I could see that being a thing where they just go through the season and they say, okay, Jordan Bennington's going to be a guy that we get rid of in the offseason. But if that's going to be the case, you're going to get a pretty big deal out of that. I feel that if we do trade Jordan Bennington before this deadline, I feel like the return for Jordan Bennington is it's going to be decent, but it's not going to be probably as good as we think it's going to be.
Okay. This is what I think. You're right. If it's an off-season deal, I think it's a something along the lines of a Ryan O'Reilly deal, right? Where it happened, that Ryan O'Reilly happened during the either right before or during or right after the draft, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Bennington becomes a draft day trade, right? I think Bennington becomes a draft day trade, and I do think because he's a draft day trade, he's a guy that we're getting 5 assets for, right? I think we're getting 5 assets for him. If you look at where Bennington is now to where O'Reilly was when we got O'Reilly, and yes, I think we overpaid for O'Reilly, but at the same time, and I always preface this, I think that 2 of the players that we gave up in that trade, we forced Buffalo to take, right? So I think Bergeron and the other one that sounds like Tarasenko. Another Russian. I think,
Another Russian guy.
Other started with an S. I can't remember his name. I think that those 2 guys were added to the trade package from Armstrong's point of view, not from Buffalo's point of view. Right?
Oh, are you talking about?
Did not want to get traded. He was pissed, and he quit hockey because of it. Right?
Who did? Sorry.
Huh?
Who did? Sorry, I wasn't. Yeah, who did?
It was another. It was a Russian guy. He ended up I don't think he ever played for Buffalo, or if he did, it wasn't that long. I think he was part of the STL line for a while.
Are you talking about Sobotka?
Yeah, Sobotka. That's it.
Yeah, Sobotka. Yeah, Vladimir Sobotka. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Sobotka and Bergeron they weren't guys that Buffalo wanted.
You mean Patrick Berglund?
Berglund, okay.
Berglund.
Yeah, Berglund. Okay.
Yeah.
They may not be guys that Buffalo wanted, but Armstrong said, you know what? You want Thompson, you want this, you want that. I'm going to make you take places that I need to get rid of that are harder for me to get rid of. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to make you take Berglund and Sobotka. Mm-hmm. And again, while I go, we overpaid, to me, 5 for 1, I don't see that. I think those other 2 were Armstrong's doing, not Buffalo's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I like I said, I think for me, if you're Jordan Bennington, I'm maybe not as optimistic as you are maybe about that. For me, I just don't know if a team's going to give us 5 assets for Jordan Bennington. I think he's going to be worth a lot. I think he's a hot commodity for any playoff team, but I just don't see a team giving up 5 assets for him. I can see them getting a pretty decent return for him for sure, but your goal as a Blues fan, to me at least, your future is looking bright. We've seen it. Dvorsky is going to be a big-time player. We've kind of already seen it. We touched base a little bit on it. Snuggerud, he's going to come into his own. We're getting some younger guys. I think Justin Carbonneau is going to come in and be great.
Yeah.
Adam Yurchik. This team is going in the right direction, and I know that's crazy to say with how weird it's been for the last couple seasons and how we've been kind of in a sea of mediocrity and middle of the pack. But I believe in this group, and I believe that this team is capable of turning it around, and not in that long of a turn. Like I don't think that we need to go in a rebuild kind of thing.
No,
I think that the Blues are too. The Blues are too young to rebuild. They're too young.
Think that you've got just in the minor league system, right? Defense-wise, everyone says we need this old defense. Well, you've got Adam Urich and Theo Lindstein, and both those guys are really, really close to coming up. And then you got Lucas Fisher, who's not far behind those two guys. So that's 3 young guys. That's two 19-year-olds and a 21-year-old that are on the cusp of being in the NHL, right? So
now,
if right now you can't open a slot, those are guys that you could bring somebody in. They're trade bait too. They're guys that you could trade if you needed to, and then you look on the forward side. You have Carbonneau, you have Stenberg. I didn't add the I. You have Jerko. Kazamoski is starting to build something now. Kazamoski's 20. He's a little older. Yaron Parik. I'm probably saying that wrong. Right? 20. Stancil. 20. These are guys that have some. They're NHL players. I'm just not sure when they're going to be NHL players. I think they're close to being NHL players.
Yeah, and like I said, I think for me, and honestly, I've been rolling it around, and Will can kind of talk about this. I know how we felt about Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas, and I'm not the biggest fan of getting rid of either of those guys, but I'm kind of in the boat now where for me, Kyrou is a guy that I think for me, I think he's going to need a change of scenery. I think the only thing that's going to help Kyrou in his career and may help the Blues in the long run is a change of scenery for Jordan Kyrou. And I hate to say that because I think he's a great player, but then I look at the possible teams that you could look for. And I think the one team that I'm landing on the most, and the one team that I'm thinking that maybe there could be something being done for like a hockey trade, and change things up, would be the New Jersey Devils. The New Jersey Devils are in the same place as the St. Louis Blues. They're a team that's in the murky middle. They're still trying to figure out. They don't really have a group that is all that high and mighty right now. They should be a lot better than what they are. But their GM has came out and said that he wants to change things up, and I think he wants to send a message. And I think how you send a message is you make a hockey trade. So I don't necessarily think that the Blues would go out there and be able to capitalize on a Jack Hughes because I don't think that New Jersey would give up Jack Hughes.
No.
But there is other guys. Maybe a Nico Hischier, maybe a Dawson Mercer. Those are your guys that you're looking at. If you're New Jersey and you're St. Louis trying to make a deal. So I think that was the perfect trade candidate in my opinion. And even Justin Falk, I could see Justin Falk going to maybe in New Jersey. New Jersey's not a playoff team. So obviously Justin Falk would want to go to a playoff team, of course. But if that can't be done and he could go to New Jersey, there's some assets in New Jersey I would take for Justin Falk. And I'm sure that you can get it because Justin Falk, I think New Jersey is in desperate need of a right-handed right defenseman. So
I'm kind of with you there. I don't have. I'll be honest. I am with you there. I think that would be a pretty solid move. To be honest, I'm with you. I think that'd be a solid move. Now, I brought up something on the show last night. I know that you were not here, right? And again, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying anything about you not being there. Okay.
Yeah, no, you're good.
The reason I'm bringing that up is, God, I'm being stupid right now. The reason I'm bringing that up, that you weren't, one of the things I brought up last night is right now, you brought it up about trading Bennington being a off-season move instead of an in-season move, right? If you trade Bennington right now for a first-round pick, the likelihood of that pick being 29, 30, 31, or 32 is actually pretty high. Right? Would you agree with me on that?
Yeah.
Right? In that position.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah.
We have drafted 2 players in those last 4 picks in the last 10 years. One of them was very recent, so I'm not worried about him yet. He's still to be. Can you think of the last player we drafted in those 4 positions and how he was with us?
And what, late in the draft?
So somebody that we drafted in the last 4, so either 29, 30, 31, 32, or 28, 29, 30, 31 before Seattle, right?
Mm-hmm. Who do we draft? I know, because we've had like I said, we've always been a team that's been kind of in the murky middle. We've always drafted in the middle quite a bit.
In those last 4, right? We have only drafted 2 players going back 10 years. And I want to double check this. I want to double check this. I had it pulled up last night, right? I had it pulled up last night, so I want to double check it, right? Because there's one other year that I think we could have pulled one that may be within that 10-year mark. No, actually, I think we moved up a little bit. Yeah, so let me pull something up here real quick, if you don't mind. I'm looking at something. I want to double check something just to make sure that I'm not missing anything.
Yeah, you can definitely look that up, but I'm definitely curious to know.
I am right.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead. I'll talk about what I'm going to talk about later.
No, so in the last 10 years, we have drafted 2 players in the bottom 4 picks. Okay? Mm-hmm. One of them, I'll tell you who one of them was. And I will say this right off the bat, it is too early for me to make a judgment on this player. But at number 29 in 2023, which I think it may have been before the Kraken, I'm not 100% sure, we drafted Theo Lindstein, right? I'm going to double check that he was the last 4. I think he was. Yes, he was, right? He was the last 4. The Knights were in the league at that time. So he was the 4th pick. In 2019, we drafted Theo Lindstein at number 29. We drafted one other player in 10 years in those last 4 spots.
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of who that player is?
No, I can't, if I'm honest.
No? Anybody out there in the 5 or 6 people that are watching us, who is the other player that we have drafted in the bottom 4 picks? I'm going to see if someone pulls it out here. Come on, somebody pull it out for me. I'm going to see. I know Shocky's here. By the way, Shock, I don't know if you heard me earlier. I want to say thank you so much for everything you do for the BlueNote fan report and for the Hawaii Blue Fan clan. I think I'm going to make you an admin if you're okay with it, because you're the guy that really kind of runs that page, and I want to give you you're my Roland, and I need you. So okay.
Are we talking about in the first round?
In the first round, yes.
Okay, in first.
We're
Okay,
talking
yeah.
about pick.
I couldn't.
We are
No, I
absolutely
couldn't tell.
talking. Hold on, let me double check something here. Make sure I didn't screw something up. We are absolutely talking about pick number 29, 30, 31, 32.
Yeah, no, I couldn't tell you.
28, we're talking about 28, 29, 30, 31, or in the Kraken years 32.
Well, yeah. No, I couldn't tell you because
Let me say a name and see if this brings it. Because I'm pretty sure if I say this name, you're going to know who this player is that I'm thinking about. Ryan Reeves.
that's the player.
Nope, that's not the player. But this player was traded for that pick.
I must be stupid then.
Costin. We got Costin at the 31st overall pick, the last pick in the draft of the Penguins.
Oh,
The last pick of the first round of the Penguins.
You're asking a lot for me with Clem fucking Costin. Jesus Christ. I mean, he didn't really amount to anything, in St. Louis.
So that was my point. In the last 10 years, in those bottom four picks, and really, if you go back in those last 4 years and look at bottom four picks, like if I pulled up the drafts, right? Pulled up the drafts, the first round drafts, and started looking at, starting 2 years back, starting in 2023, right? And going back 10 years, how many players in the bottom four did anything in the league, right? And we'll start with 2023. We'll do this for a little bit, right? And so this is my point. This is what I'm concerned about with a Bennington trade in the preseason. In 24, you had Lindstein, Brady Nadeau, and they're still early, right? You had a Russian guy and David Elstrom. Only one of those guys has 11 games. Brady has 11 games in the league, right? And maybe with the Hurricanes, I don't know, maybe he was traded, right? That was 23. Go back to 22. Last four picks in 22 are Maverick Lemieux, Brad Lambert, Isaac Howard, Reed Schaefer. All four of those have played some NHL time. 20 games, 10 games, 28 games, 27 games. Again, it's still early, but there's guys in that draft that are in the hundreds or 200s already. Savosky is at 250, right? Nemec, 130. Logan Cooley, right? 186. So there are guys that are playing games, not a cup of coffee. anything under 50 games to me is a cup of coffee, basically. And these guys, 2010, 28, and 27, that's a cup of coffee. That's 22. Let's go to 21. 21, we're looking at Chase Stillman, Zach Dean, Logan Mailloux, Nolan Allen. Mailloux has 50 games. Allen has 43. Zach Dean has 9. We had Dean for a while, right?
We still have Dean. Well, we still have Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still have Zach Dean. He was in that. He was in the. He was in the. What the hell is that called? The assistance program or whatever.
Yeah. That's right. And then Chase Stillman's played no games, right? So Mailou's got 50 games, but then there's guys in that draft that have 300 games, right? That draft was a pretty good draft too, I think. You had Owen Power, Matthew Beiners, Mason McTavish, Luke Hughes, Kent Johnson. I mean, you got guys that have got games, okay? Right? So the majority of that first round has already played games. And most of them have more than a cup of coffee. You're looking at 3 of the 4 only having a cup of coffee and 1 having not seen the league yet. That is 21. Now we go to 20. Now at 20, I expect you to have 86 games. This is 5 years, 6 years in, right? So you should have at least a full season in my eyes, right?
Mhm.
So in the last 4 picks, you have Ridley Gregg, Brendan Branson, Merrick Bork, and Ozzie Weisblatt. Now you got 2 guys that have more than a cup of coffee. Ridley's got 222 games. Bork's got 131. The other 2 guys, 24 and 35 respectively. Cup of coffee, right? You kind of starting to see my point here. That bottom 4 picks, there's not a lot there, right? I mean, Ryan Suzuki, and now we're in 19. Ryan Suzuki, 2 games. Tragedy, Tracy, I think it is. Braden Tracy, 1 game. Beecher, 155 games. Okay, better than a cup of coffee. Ryan Johnson, 47 games. Go back to 18 now. And in 18, now we're getting into where you actually had some players. Now it's Lundqvist, Ramis Sedin, Joseph Volano, and Alexander Alexeyev. Now you got guys 213, 361, 355, and 80. So 1 cup of coffee and 3 guys that actually played. But overall, you're just not getting enough. Your chances of getting a player that's going to be a guy that can do what you need in that area, I'm not seeing. Right? I just don't feel like you've got that opportunity in that spot. Though, then I go, we had Costin. Now, we got Costin in that spot, but you've got Henry Yorjaku and Eli Tolavin, and they've got 440 and 400 respectively, where the centers had Shane Bowers as 13, and we got Costin with 190. So, I mean, that's kind of where we're at. Oh, I lost him. I lost Justin. Come back, Justin.
There we go. Hear me?
Oh, yeah, we're back. We got you back.
Yeah.
So that was my point. If you're trading Jordan Bennington, hold on. If you're trading Jordan Bennington, the chance that you're going to get in the first round this year is that pick. I don't know, man. I'd rather wait.
Mm-hmm.
And do it something where you're going to get something that's in your wheelhouse, which we know is late teens to mid 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I'm gonna before we go, we're gonna kind of finish it off here. I'm gonna go back to this. I'm gonna name some names, and it is simply this: do you trade them? Yes or no? Don't care what the return. Do you trade this player? Yes or no? You're the GM. Do you make the trade? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Jordan Kyrou.
And I have to answer yes or no. I have to answer. I can't say 50-50.
I could see 50-50. I think the answer to this one, the deal's right.
Yeah, because for me, I want to say, like, my heart says no, I don't want to get rid of Jordan Kyrou, but my brain tells me that, but my heart says I think the only way that Jordan Kyrou is going to have success in St. Louis can possibly move further on in the development is yes, trade him.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you. Robert Thomas.
I'm not trading Robert Thomas. Robert Thomas kind of falls into the same boat though. But if I'm going to trade Jordan Kyrou, I can't trade Robert Thomas too, because you're only going to trade one or the other. So you're not going to trade both. You cannot trade both. You can't afford to trade both.
Pavel Vucinovic.
No, I think he's been pretty good, and you're not going to be able to find a deal for Pavel Buchnevich anyways. He just signed his new deal. He's been good though, so I don't have a complaint with Pavel.
Braden Shen.
Yeah, I would see. I'm iffy on him too because I think Braden Shin with his leadership ability. Because once you get rid of Braden Shin, you're really limiting the leadership that you'll have on the Blues if you do that, because he's a big leader there. I do think that you could strip him of the captaincy, but if I'm in the boat and I had to say yes or no, I would say yes. You probably get rid of Braden Shin.
Pierce Suter.
No, I'm not getting rid of Suter.
Jake Neighbors.
I think that there's a possibility he can be a trade chip. I really do believe that. I'd hate to see it. I think he could possibly be a future captain of this team, but honestly, he's 50-50 for me too, because I think the Blues could use him as a trading chip. He's the one piece that they do have that he doesn't have a no trade clause or whatnot, so you can really dangle him. Yeah, Joseph can. Now, are you asking me? So let me preface this because I should ask this soon. Are you asking me should they trade him? Or are you asking me do I think they're going to trade them?
Do you trade them?
Do I trade them?
You're GM.
Okay. Well, Joseph is interesting. Joseph's a guy that if you can get a decent return, because Joseph would be a decent depth piece for somebody, and I think you could probably get a decent type of return for him. So. Sorry, I'm going to be cop out here and say it kind of just goes along with the deal. You're not going to get much for Joseph, but I do think that you might get a little something.
I think you could get a second and a prospect for Joseph.
Yeah, so I mean, if that's the case, then yeah, I would say yes. Joseph is a guy that I don't see on the. Joseph won't be on this team when the Blues are competitive, and Stanley Cup contenders.
Now I'm going to get into some touchy ones. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Holloway.
Dylan Holloway's interesting. See, the thing is we haven't had a deal yet. We signed Broberg. Holloway has not signed. Holloway is very injury prone, so I don't know how much a team would actually give you for Dylan Holloway. Honestly, we haven't had the Dylan Holloway experience for that long, and it's mostly partly to do with the fact that he's been injured. But we kind of know the player that we're getting with Dylan Holloway, and I think he fits the Blues very, very well. But he's another one of those guys that I got to kind of cop out and say it's kind of the deal that you get for him. He's a young player. He's still young. So, I mean, do you really just want to give up on him that quickly?
Yeah, I get you. Next one. Again, we're getting into touchy subjects here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Bergen. Jonathan Bergen.
Seeing as you got him off of waivers and he's kind of came in and he's done his role perfect. I feel like he's done pretty good and he's done his role fine. Seeing as the Blues just recently got him, the fact that I don't think that you would really get that much for him. He hasn't shown like a crazy amount, but he's still young, so I still think there's potential there. So I would say no on Bergen.
I think with him, he would be a package deal.
Yeah, he would be the fluff in any in a deal, if something was like a bigger trade. I do agree there. So if we're going off of that logic, then yes, package deal, something with him in it, that's fine. But as for a player that's just gonna be like him in his own deal with getting something back, I just don't see that happening.
Next player, I think you're going to answer immediately, and I think I know what the answer is. Ready?
Yeah.
Alexei Torpachenko.
No. Torchenko.
I knew it. Right? Yeah, you just signed him to a 2-year extension. You just signed him to a 2-year extension. There, yeah, you're one thing. He's not going.
But would you? But let me ask, would you want Alexei Torchenko traded off this team? Because I don't.
I don't either. No.
Yeah. So yeah, but, no. I'm going with no.
We're sellers, so everybody's on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's why you got to ask yourself, what do you want to do because everybody's on the table. Next one. I think I know the answer to this one, and it'll be just as immediate. You ready?
Mhm.
Oscar Sundquist.
I would say yes. I would say get rid of him. I would say
took
yes.
a little longer for that one than I thought.
But
right?
I would say yeah. But see, the thing is because I love Oscar Sundquist. He's just an absolute warrior out there. But he's not what he used to be. He's a fourth line guy. I hate that the Blues put him on the power play. That infuriates me to no end because Oscar Sundquist is not a power play guy. But he's a heart and soul guy. He's a guy that you want in your locker room. And I've heard that not just from the Blues organization, from the Blues players, but from the other organizations that he was in. I heard it a lot with Minnesota. A lot of Minnesota fans didn't like seeing him go when he left. So he's a leader, or he's a locker room presence. But if I'm the Blues, yes, I would get rid of him because there's just so many roster spots that are going to be taken up by the youngsters that are coming in.
So the next two, I'm going to say their names together because I think the answer is the exact same and it will be immediate. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Snuggerud and Dvorsky.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Am I right?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Right. You're not getting rid of Snuggerud. You're not getting rid of Dvorsky. Dvorsky just out of everyone. I said this before. Out of everyone who went to Milan, Italy, the Blues player that is going to take the most out of that experience, although two got to play for the gold medal, it's gonna be Dvorsky. Dvorsky he broke the record for rookie points. He's going to take the most out of that experience. Whether he's going to take it and run with it, I have no idea. But I think that he's going to be a great player for the Blues, and I think I'm so glad to see where he's actually become, because we were talking about it at the beginning of the season when he didn't make this roster, and we said, well, next year if he's not on this roster, he needs to be moved. So he's on this roster now, and I think he's gonna be a mainstay there now.
Okay, next one. The next three, I think I know the answer to all three, but I'm going to say them. Nathan Walker.
No.
Yeah, I'm with you. Robbie Fabry.
See, I'm a little bit skeptical because me and you talked about this a couple weeks ago when we were doing this. Robbie Fabry is a guy that I feel that he might be the guy that finds himself on the outside looking in.
Yeah,
I feel like the Blues might honestly, he might be a waiver guy.
If somebody called me on him, in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
in a heartbeat.
Well, and yeah, if someone, I think it would be a decent depth piece for any team. But I think he kind of falls into the same category as who else did we say? The Berggren, Berggren with the package deal. I could see him going in a package deal. I could see that as well. With Fabry, but Fabry is a guy to me. I think he's going to be on the outside looking in.
Yeah. Okay. This one is. I'm going to say the name, but I think it's too early to make this answer, even though the trade deadline's 2 weeks away. Jack Finley.
No, I think with the way that like he has history, I think his dad played here, right? So, I don't see that. I think the Blues love taking these what is it? I don't know the correct terminology, but they like taking these reconstruction projects pretty much. And not that he's a reconstruction project, but he's a guy that has history to the team. The Blues seem to never get the superstars. They always seem to bring in a bunch of tight-knit group guys that are blue-collar. Jack Finley should be good. And the reason I say that is because if we're going to move on from Oscar Sundquist, I think Jack Finley,
that role, and he's only 23.
And he's a big boy. He's not a small dude. So you might get what you're looking for on that fourth line if he works out with a Nathan Walker and a Alexei Toropchenko. So that's why I would be moving on from Sundquist. And I would.
Okay, here comes this is the fun list. I actually think I know the answer to every single one of these. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to see if I get it right. If If I put my finger up, I got it right. If I don't, I got it wrong. Justin Falk.
Yes, you moved Justin Falk.
Colton Parayko.
See, and this is where I might stump you here a little bit, but for me, I love Colton Parayko, and he's still kind of considered the number one here. Broberg is going to be there eventually, and I think Parayko should be in this lineup still. So I'm going to say no on Parayko, but if the deal was right, I would be okay with giving up with it. I would be okay with
fingers up for that one because I was going to say exact same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Next one. I'll put the finger up even before you go. You ready? Philip Broberg.
No, Philip Broberg just signed. Philip Broberg, like I've said it, and I'll keep saying it nauseum, he's going to be your number one Blues defenseman here in a couple of years, and the by far elite one.
Yeah, this next one is the only one I'm not sure of. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Cam Fowler.
See, he's interesting, and now I'm going to preface it. I'm going to say no, and the reason I'm going to say no is because of the year that he's had. I think he would be a solid depth piece for anybody looking to make a run because I do think he's a solid defenseman, but he is older. So I honestly, I'm going to say no, and I for me, I don't know if that's a fast answer for you, but I don't see them getting rid of Fowler.
I would have said yes as long as the deal was right. As long as the deal was absolutely right. But
go
ahead.
Sorry. I just want to preface this because you bring up a good point. I want to preface this in a way that if I was the GM, like you were asking me, yes, I would trade Fowler. But do I think the Blues are going to trade Fowler? No, I do not think the Blues will.
So I'm going to give myself a half on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you were pretty much right because I was answering it in a way where you didn't like where you asked me originally. So if I was the GM, yes, I would look for an option for him, but I don't think the Blues will do that.
Tyler Tucker.
Oh man, Tyler. For me, I'm not the biggest. I feel like he earned his spot this year, like coming into this year, but like he's not as defensively reliable as I'd like him to be. And honestly, I don't know if there would be anybody in the market for Tyler Tucker. I mean, there might be, but I don't know. With how the defense is developing, and we're still going to have to wait a couple years, I'm going to say no. Tyler Tucker's probably not going anywhere, just because we're still waiting on the development.
Not going anywhere, but if someone called and asked about him, he'd be gone in my book.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I can say that for a lot of them. Like if someone did call me about Tyler Tucker, but that's the thing. If somebody called me, I just don't know if someone would call for Tyler Tucker. But if they do, I would be fine with it. I would be fine with getting rid of Tyler Tucker.
I'm almost certain I know the answer to this one. Almost certain. And I think it's going to be quick. Logan Mailloux.
No, you don't trade Logan Mailloux.
I'm learning you, Justin. We're on the same page, buddy.
And anybody that says that you should trade him is delusional. I mean, he's still young. He came in after he got sent down to Springfield, and he played fine. So, I mean, he is still a young defenseman. He's still developing. Give him time. Give him a couple more years. If he doesn't pan out, then he doesn't pan out. And we'll be looking at the Zach Bolduc thing, and we'll be like, oh, well, we lost a trade. But granted, Zach Bolduc is not tearing bridges down in Montreal anyways. No, he's not really tearing it down either. So
and then just cooled the hell off. So, yeah, I'm with you there. Last one for the defenseman, Matthew Kessel.
If someone is calling me about Matthew Kessel, yes, I'm moving him.
I got him all right. Every one of them I got right. Okay. Next two, I guarantee you I know the answers on these. Right?
Now,
I know what you're going to think on the next two. Go ahead.
Well, and I just, like I said, I just want to preface this. This is about if a team called us and what would we do? Yes, I would get rid of
someone asking, Kessel. Do you want him? You're waiting for somebody to call you. You're saying if someone called you.
Yeah, I would get rid of those guys. But
Yeah.
but if you tell, like, if we're answering these in a different way, my answers would be a little bit different. If you said, "Do I think the Blues will get rid of
Yeah.
these players?" That is a
Agreed.
little different.
Okay. The next two, I'm going to tell you what I think your answer is, and you tell me what player you think it is. Absolutely yes.
Okay, that's gonna be Bennington. and
And the
and
next one, ready? Absolutely
yeah.
no way in hell.
No, yeah, oh, and that's going to be Hofer. But see, and like I said, I want to preface this, but because I want to say this, I love Jordan Bennington. I will always have a
Yeah,
place in
I
Jordan
know.
Bennington. I will always support Jordan Bennington no matter where he goes and what he does in his career. But Jordan Bennington's stock is at an all-time high now. Like I said, we all know that the coaches and the management, they know, like, Jordan Bennington is a great goalie, so we know that for a fact. The fans are who think that this stock is low, but his stock is at an all-time high, especially now after the Olympics. He didn't win gold, but he had a great showing in the Olympics. Now is your time to get rid of him. And like I said, I'm going to be kind of a douche here, and I'm going to pat myself on the back and say, I told everyone before anyone ever had any inkling about Jordan Bennington being traded. I was the first one to set murmurs and say Jordan Bennington should be moved from the St. Louis
You did
Blues.
early in the season when we at a game we were talking about saying, and we both. I know you can put me in that. You remember the conversation we had in game 2?
Yep.
Right at the game, you and me sitting there going, with the way they're starting this season. In fact, this was the one we did it. This is the Calgary game we did. Remember?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The Calgary game we did at the bar, and we were talking. Hofer played really well, and we were going. If someone calls about Bennington, I think this is it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we both said that.
Yeah, I mean, this is, like I said, I love Jordan Bennington. Like I said, I'll always support him, but you cannot afford Jordan Bennington to walk away from the St. Louis Blues and not get nothing in return. So with that being said, you have to trade him to get something for him. Like I said, I don't think the deal is going to be as sweet as you think it's going to be, but you are going to get something for Jordan Bennington. But you need to get something for Jordan Bennington because that's the only way that the Blues are going to rocket themselves into the future.
I agree.
You can't.
Said,
oh, sorry.
Okay, Shockman says fans need to realize we won't get superstars now. We might get someone like Kyrou, who is a big upside that needs to change the season. Now with Kyrou, if somebody called and was offering a player that may be in that same boat, right? Someone that's been considered a locker room cancer or had some issues or other stuff like that there, I may be, depending on the player, willing to go one-on-one.
So let me run this by you. I like I said, I don't know what happens with Jordan Bennington, of course. But Jordan Kyrou is an interesting thing because he has that contract. I do think that it's not as, it's a big contract, but it's not as bad as everybody makes it out to be because, honestly, when you look at it, Thomas and Kyrou make less than Kaprizov does combined. So when you look at it like that, yes, the contracts are not that bad, but they are big contracts. You can't trade Kyrou and Thomas because if you do that, then you're telling me that you're going through a rebuild. If you trade both of those guys, you're going through a rebuild. So you can't do that. But how would you feel if the New Jersey Devils, I talked about this earlier, were to call up Doug Armstrong and they said, hey, we're looking to make an example of this team. We're looking to send a message to our top guys. What if you give us Jordan Kyrou? And now I don't have a set trade in mind, but you have Jordan Kyrou and your big return back would either be Dawson Mercer or Nico Hischier. That would be one of two because you're not getting both. You could possibly add a deal into there. Maybe you can throw in a Matthew Kessel. And maybe you can take one of their defensemen. Now, the person that I was thinking, because I think that they're talking about it, and I don't know how you'd feel about it because he is an older guy, but Dougie Hamilton might be a guy that might be on the move. I don't know how well he'd fit into the scheme of St. Louis. Dougie Hamilton can be a guy that the Blues could possibly get. Luke Hughes would be absolutely awesome, but I don't know if the Devils would actually make that deal and give up Luke Hughes because he's like their youngest defenseman, and he's going to be probably pretty good. He's not going to be Quinn Hughes levels good, but he's going to be a good defenseman. He would be a good pickup for the Blues. He would also be young. He would fit into the timeline of the Blues being competitive.
And
So
we just did a 2-hour impromptu show.
yeah, no, it was a good show, but I just want
I think we both needed it, right?
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on what you thought about that, because in a realistic world, like if I could say, oh, okay, give us Jordan Kyrou or give us we'll do a straight up hockey trade, Kyrou for Jack Hughes, but they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. So in a perfect world, yes, I would want Jack Hughes, but who knows? Maybe if they really did want to send a message, granted, I'm going to say that it would never happen because, first of all, Jack Hughes is a center, and centers are hard to come by. So I don't think that they would trade him straight up for Jordan Kyrou. You'd have to add in more pieces. But if a Jack Hughes was to get on this team, man, oh man, that would just be absolutely crazy to watch. It won't happen, like I said. But then again, you get into the same boat because New Jersey is not hurting for centers. They're hurting for wingers. Yeah. So that's why I say maybe you're looking at a Nico Hischier, which a Nico Hischier would be interesting, if I'm honest. A Nico Hischier, a Dawson Mercer would be interesting in my book.
With Kyrou, like I said, the deal's got to be right. If the deal's right, I'm moving on. If the deal's not, I'm not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can 100% agree with that. Like I said, everything is different. Like the way that we answer those questions, we answer them. If we were the GM and somebody called us about them, would we get rid of them? Our answers would be different if you said, okay, answer them as if, do you think the Blues are going to get rid of them? They would have been different. So,
no, my question was, you're the GM. What do you do?
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. We answered the questions like that, but I'm saying the answers, some of our answers would have been different if we answered them the other way and said, do we think the Blues are going to get rid of them? But one thing I can say for certain, though, and it would be highly disappointing, is the Blues cannot go in and not make a single move. We're going to see moves, and we need to see moves. Whatever they are, there needs to be moves. You cannot stand pat again because what happened last year is likely not going to happen again. Yes, you're statistically not out of it, but the Blues would have to have a remarkable second half. I
agree. Okay, man. What a show. 2 hours, a little over 2 hours, and I've got another podcast to do in 40 minutes. my alumni group is having a naval ball in September that I'm hoping to go to. And I'm doing a podcast with the people that are running it to promote it. So I'm doing that. It'll be on my page. I should be sharing it on my page. So if you want to hear me talk about that. And also, if you look on YouTube during the break, there is a thing called Gulf War. Oh, and I can't remember the here we go. Gulf War Side Effects. I was on there last week talking about my time in the Gulf War. They did some good reels and some other stuff. So check it out. Gulf War Side Effects on YouTube. It was a really good show. Bud, I haven't done this in a while, but how do we end this show?
I think we got to ask the girls, man. Where are the girls at?
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
What are you wearing?
A Canadian tuxedo. I'm a hockey player. Let's go Blues.
And I want to know who is late for dinner.
Where are they at?
Now, I got to do that. I got to. Shaggy, hey, buddy. USA, baby. If you move Luke, you could upset Jack. Very, very good point. I went out of my mind. I was so excited from Shag. You guys got to love an angry Benny. Absolutely. And Jason McMillan says good night. Oh. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
No, I actually, it's actually interesting. it would be so weird, bro. I'm telling you what, would it be so weird to see this type of trade? Say you don't trade. Sorry, I don't mean to get into a huge tirade, but say you don't get rid of Jordan Kyrou. Say you get rid of Robert Thomas, just for the hell of it. Say you get rid of Robert Thomas, and you say you do Robert Thomas and Colton Parayko or somebody, Cam Fowler. But I don't think it would match up quite.
Oh, he's freezing on me. Come back. Come back. Come back. I'm waiting.
Okay, you here? Okay.
You froze, yeah.
Sorry. So it wouldn't match up really well for New Jersey, but say you did it in a hypothetical situation. You do Robert Thomas and Colton Parayko for Jack Hughes and Luke Hughes. Straight up.
I'd want to pick too.
Okay, I mean, you can throw in a pick there, but see the thing, and I guess technically you could do that because Parayko is an established guy, Luke Hughes is still young. But like I said, if that's a hypothetical. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But I'm not particularly saying no to that because I think Jack Hughes is a fantastic player.
Yeah.
And I think that his issue is staying healthy, but we kind of have that issue with Robert Thomas sometimes. There's always a thing where Robert Thomas gets hurt too. So I don't want to get rid of Robert Thomas, but honestly, it's kind of an compelling trade, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it's something to think about. Okay, so now we're back to it. Who's late for dinner?
I think we need the boys. Where are the boys at?
Hawaii Blues fan, we're bleeding blue with you. Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues!
So this is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, with my co-host, my friend, my pal, my buddy, Justin Eagle Eye Scott. We've been away, but we're back saying aloha mahalo. And you can always find us on the BlueNote Fan Report on Facebook and YouTube. And we know that Guy is bleeding blue with you.
And as always, hockey's back, baby. It's Let's Go Blues.
And I'll see you next time. And we'll see you next time on the BlueNote Fan Report. Hello, yeehaw.